everybody, David from Flash by the Cycle Nut here. Got the MIVV exhaust on my work table for the GSX8. Just unpacked it, taking a look at it, forget my first impressions. Came with instructions, yay. Tubes are labeled. They look like paper stickers that we're going to peel off, but so far they are peeling off clean, which is nice, so it don't look like I'll have any residual. Came with a removable DB killer and a bag of hardware with some covers for the springs. Has this cool looking mesh cover I can put back on with, they give you the nut, because the original nut is in the DB killer. And so in this one, when you take the DB killer out to put the mesh screen back in, you got to use that. DB killer is pretty small, and I can see why. This is a pretty short and small can, so this system is going to be quite loud. No doubt about that. So I will get this hooked up, give you my impressions on fitment issues. Again, like so far, not bad. Tubing's kind of heavy. Nothing real overly great about it, but nothing overly bad about it either. So, and the can looks pretty nice, carbon, looks decent. So we'll, like I said, we'll get it mounted up, get you some sound clips and some dyno runs, get my street and dyno tuning done, and give you my impressions. The MIVV is all mounted up, and it went on fairly easy. The springs are a little tough to get to. I didn't bother putting the rubber covers over them because it's not going to be my permanent exhaust. I think the angle's a little weird. It really sits flat, and it was kind of difficult to get to the bolt back here to bolt it on. I'm going to start with the DB killer out, and let's hear how loud it is. And I'm guessing from looking at it, it's loud, but you'll get the first start. Yeah, that's quite loud. So let's see what kind of numbers it makes. And I'll get you some clips of it on the dyno, get you some sound readings, and I know there's a lot of people waiting on this one. To me, I'm be a little concerned that it might rub when cornering just because of the angle of it and how low it sits. And I'm sure it's mounted right because there's only one way to really mount it. So yeah, let's see what we get. So let's first talk about my impressions. After the tune, the bike runs well with the MIVV exhaust. It is definitely on the louder side. It's the first one that I felt while riding. It was a bit too loud for my taste. Like the Toast, when you're standing next to it, sounds really loud, but when I was riding it, it didn't feel that way. With this MIVV, I do feel that way. I didn't get the corner hard enough with it. I got to go a ways out to get some decent corners to see if it would scrape on the right, but that still is a concern, and I think the angle's kind of weird. So let's get to see how it did. So if you've watched my other videos, you know this run. This is just comparing the GSX8 all stock versus just the Stage 1 Airbox mod that I recommend that everybody do. And here's what we get if we compare the bike with the stock exhaust, stock ECU, and the Stage 1 Airbox mod to the MIVV exhaust with the flash and the Stage 1 Airbox mod with the DB killer out. See, we have nice gains all the way from 4,000 RPMs up. Torque curve's a lot flatter till we get to about 7,000 RPMs. And it's just a better looking curve with more power. If we now compare it to the all-stock bike, makes the gains even look bigger because they are, right? So what do we got? 6 horsepower. Yeah, my math is shitty today. 8 foot-pounds of torque. Nice improvements, right? They can't really argue with that. So then, like promised, I put the DB killer in, and I show the air fuel on this because it's appropriate. And it did do a good job of knocking down sound. So with no DB killer in, it was 77 decibels at idle and over 130 during the run. With the decibel killer in, it was 75 decibels at idle and only 112 on the run. Interestingly, just to show how bad and how hard it is to get good recordings, I made recordings with both the DB killer in and out, and you literally can't tell the difference, even though it was a lot louder. And that's just because the mic even stuff out. This is one of those reasons why I always say trying to pick an exhaust from sound recordings on the internet is a horrible way. So if you're going to run this exhaust only with the DB killer in, you can see the air fuel moves quite a bit. I was able to get about a half of that horsepower back by bringing the air fuel back up to where it should be. If you are going to just occasionally put the DB killer in, it won't hurt anything to be this rich. It just won't be making as good power as it would. As you can see, it's only about 2 horsepower, so not the end of the world if you're looking for it to be quiet or if you're taking a trip, because this thing would be miserable on a long trip. So then I took the DB killer back out, put the stage 2 airbox lid on it, took for a street tune, put it for a dyno tune, and here's the results. And what do we get? We get more everywhere. More area under the curve, more horsepower, more torque, all that good stuff. And you can see the gains actually start a little earlier. So, you know, not my favorite exhaust I've had on the bike. If we're going to be honest, it's my least favorite exhaust I've had on the bike. But to each their own. If this one suits you and you like the price and the looks of it, I can get it running as well as possible, and it runs decent. It's not up there with the more expensive Akrapovic and M4 systems. They definitely perform a lot better, but you get what you pay for sometimes. So thanks, guys, for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe and like button for more motorcycle-related content. Peace.